I once read that the average life expectancy for a human is 75 years old. That means you have 27,375 days to leave an impact on the world. When I heard this, I did the math to figure out how much time I had left. And let me tell you, it wasn't good. What this did was prove to me that above all else, time is the most valuable asset in the world. Don't believe me? Go talk to a person on their deathbed. My name is Vince Reed. I'm a son, husband, dad, Christian, Lakers fan, and entrepreneur. And throughout the years, I found that serving others is the secret to wealth. I love my family, I love my business, I live every day like it's my last. Unlike most, I do believe money can buy you happiness. And I'm 100% certain that money can buy you time as well. That's why I believe the fastest way for you to live the most valuable life imaginable is to secure the bag so you can buy back your time. Throughout my years of entrepreneurship, I have witnessed and experienced the highs and lows of being a successful business owner. The biggest myth about business is to learn from your mistakes. I say learn from others' mistakes. And that's what I'm going to do for you right now. I'm going to expose the good, the bad, and the ugly of entrepreneurship and serve you details of how I grew my business from 0 to 8 figures on a silver platter. Get ready for what's to come, because season 2 of the DM starts right now. Are you guys ready? I can't hear. Are you ready? Season 2. Season 2. Season 2. Let's go. Let's get right into it. I'm going back. I am going back to the beginning of time, when I started learning information from my secret weapon. You see, every good master has a great teacher, an even greater teacher. You see, one of my favorite quotes is that your level of expectations must match your expertise. And way back in the beginning when I was getting started and I was so frustrated that I wasn't making that much money, I felt that I should have been making millions. I saw all the people online making money, but I wasn't there. I needed that sensei. Yeah, I had my coaches, I had mentors out there, but I needed that person that I could touch, that was available, that was around me, that could give me information. And that person was my secret weapon. I got a little story to tell you. You see, one day, I got a call from a friend. He said, hey, there's a secret meeting that I want you to go to. It's full of entrepreneurs, and I think you'll love it. It's right up your alley. And I said, man, I don't have time for this. I'm growing my company, and this is way back in the day. This is back when I started my first company, NetDivvy. He's like, man, you gotta go to this thing. They meet literally once a month. It's called the boardroom. You'll absolutely love it. You should just show up and go. So I'm like, all right, let me just go ahead and see what this is all about. So I show up to this meeting, and it's in this weird area. It's you drive in and it's kind of dark, and I go in there and there's a bunch of people crowded up in this little room. I'm like, man, what do you got me here? This some kind of cult? You little sick friend inviting me to cult? What's going on here? And then this guy walks up, looks pretty funny when I first look at him. He'll know why I'm calling him pretty funny, because I like to dig at him every time I see him. But anyhow, he gets up to the front and he starts talking. And he has this little exercise that he has everybody do to kind of figure out what their avatar is, and you start talking about your business, and it's really cool. They do it every single time you show up to this boardroom. So anyhow, I'm really quiet. I might seem like I'm an extrovert, but I'm really an introvert, especially in settings that I don't know. So I kind of just sat back, and the first few times I went, I didn't really say much. I just kind of sat back and listened. And finally it came around to me, and maybe a few months in, a couple times of coming, and my secret weapon, he didn't know he was my secret weapon at the time, but he's my secret weapon today. He starts asking me marketing questions, and I think that he's starting to get more fascinated by my answers, because, I just tend to sometimes say some fascinating things. But anyways, he's kind of man, you know that. And I start to figure out that he knows a lot of the same people that I know. And at this time, digital marketing is relatively brand new, at least in my world. A lot of people hadn't heard about all of the people that were teaching digital marketing. And anyhow, one day I'm leaving, and I'm about to go out of the room, and they were talking about that entire session in terms of the boardroom. They were talking about outsourcing. And he goes, I don't really know any places to like outsource, but I know that you can, find really good help in, other countries. And I'm getting ready to walk out the meeting. It was a great meeting. And I turn around and I just yell to him. I go, yeah, check out 123employee.com. 123employee.com was this place where you could go out and you could hire people from the Philippines to do a lot of your work. This was great for finding VAs. And he looks at me and he goes, interesting. So anyhow, the next time I come back, he's just ranting and raving. He went to that site, he found that it was really useful. And at that point, he's like, okay, maybe this guy does know a little something about digital marketing. In fact, he asked me to present to the entire boardroom, share some marketing strategies, some lead generation tips that I had learned along the way. And people were blown away, and it was really cool. It was a good introduction. And he said, hey man, you should come by and my place. I've got all this information and this content that I haven't even gone through. You might find it useful. At that time, I'm like, well, how much information can this guy really have? And, what is he really talking about in terms of like information? Is this guy is he a creeper? He's trying to get me to your house and do some crazy things? So later on that week, I go to his house, right? He opens up the door. He's like, hey man, thanks for coming in. He's like, come check this out. He takes me into his office. And when I tell you, it was like Christmas Day. I mean, Christmas Day, that Christmas when you just woke up and everything was under the tree, then you knew Santa had just over-delivered that day. That's what it was like for me. I go into this office and it was the most unbelievable library of information and content that I had ever seen in my life. I'm like, either you are literally got a sick fetish of buying everything that you see, or you're just a really smart guy because everything was in it. I mean, it was a library. I was going like this. Well, should I check this out? Should I check this out? I mean, it was $1 million over here. It was $1 million over there. I started just checking stuff out. He was like, hey, when are you going to bring it back? I'm like, don't worry, it'll come back. And it felt like every single day I was getting information and bringing it back. Brendan Bouchard's information, Frank Kern's information, all these different marketers' information. I'm just going there, checking it out, renting it out, going home, watching it. I'm consuming it. And I was blown away by my secret weapons wealth of knowledge and information. And that's when I realized that millions of dollars is literally just a piece of information away. My secret weapon not only had invested in himself, he had this library that was sitting there that was untapped. And he allowed me to tap into it. And I am forever grateful and thankful for him, because even to this day, when I'm having conflict going on in my head, you know who I call? I call my secret weapon. That boy had some stuff in that library. And guess what? It's all at my house now because I never brought it back. But anyways, thank you for letting me have it. And that's how I got my jump start on information. And that's when I realized the power of information. And so should you. Let's go. So the reason I share with you that story is for a couple of reasons. One, I want you to understand that I didn't just get here by myself. There's a lot of people that I've been able to meet, a lot of people that I've been introduced to that have helped me along the way, from friends to my secret weapon. And that's why it's really important for you to understand that you've got to get into those circles. You see, it's about, not just what you know, but it's who you know. A lot of that happens by you just being active. You see, I don't believe there's any such thing as luck. Because, for example, the guy that won the lottery last night, right? The guy that won that big lottery the other day, what was it, like a couple $1 billion in terms of, one lottery ticket? Guess what? That guy had to get off his butt, go to whatever store he went to, and buy that ticket. So luck is created by you producing, by you taking action. You create that luck. And by me getting up and going to the boardroom, okay, if I hadn't have done that, I never would have met my secret weapon. I would have never been able to consume that information, because trust me, at the time, I didn't have the finances to buy everything that was in that library. And trust me, there was a lot of stuff in there. And that's why I share with you this story. So, as we started to develop this relationship, it was really crazy, because I think people come into your life at a specific reason. Several years ago, when I got started in digital marketing, I was actually introduced to it in the first part of my life by my brother, who passed away. And I know I mentioned that he passed away in an earlier episode, but I didn't really, elaborate on it. But my brother and I were really best friends. He was an amazing guy. Even to this day, I thank him, because when I graduated from college, if you remember that story, I went and I actually stayed with him for the beginning portion of my life when I got into the real estate industry. Anyhow, when he passed away, it was a really rough time in my life. And that was right when my secret weapon and I started to kind of develop this friendship and this relationship. And, him being my secret weapon and mentor, kind of like that uncle that you all love. When my brother passed away, I remember I went to the funeral. It was really rough. And when I got back, I was just in a really low point. And he actually had tickets to a Brendan Bouchard event, right? And this was actually, one of Brendan's really big events. I can't remember what it was called, but there was a couple thousand people there. And not only did he get me a ticket to the event, I had ruptured my Achilles playing in an alumni flag football game. He had to wheel me around into the airport and to like the hotels and to basically go to this event. And I just remember just feeling helpless, being in this wheelchair, sitting at this event. And it was embarrassing a little bit because you can't really walk. And just sitting there consuming this information, checking out Brendan Bouchard. I remember Frank Kern was sitting right in front of me. Little did Frank know that I had just gone through one of his courses that I got from my mentor's, library. And all of this stuff was coming full circle by literally just taking that action and going, to the boardroom, and all that stuff kind of just fell into place. So again, I just want to urge you, even with the content that you're listening to right now, take it seriously. It only takes one little piece of information that can flat out change your life. And my secret weapon and I, we've become close. We speak all the time. In fact, every single event that I've had, he's literally opened up the event, and it's been flat out amazing. So remember, okay, it's not, all the time what you know, okay, sometimes it's who you know, but you have to be able to put yourself in position to acquire that knowledge and to connect with those individuals. So at the end of season 1, I talked about how I had all this pressure to fill my next event, and I was able to fill it with literally one webinar. It was crazy. Throughout this process, my right-hand man has been in conversations with a production company who wanted me, yes, me, yours truly, to be in a film. I'm like, come on, man. I don't want to get my Denzel Washington on right now. I'm trying to do digital marketing. I don't want to go take Will Smith's job. Yeah, stop smacking Chris Rock. I don't want to go take, other people's jobs. I need to stay in my current field. Marketing is my thing. Acting, I'm not so sure about, right? He's like, man, seriously, they want you to be in a film. I'm like, well, what is it about? He's like, well, you need to connect with them, but from what I can tell, there's a lot of amazing entrepreneurs and marketers in this film. You should really consider it. I'm like, how much money do they want? They don't want any money. Where do they want me to shoot? Anywhere that you want to shoot. It's too good to be true. Are they some kind of freaks or something? What they want to do? What are they going to do? They're trying to sell this in the black market? What's going on with this film, man? Give me the information. I need the information. And he's like, I don't know. He's like, you need to set up a meeting and let's see what's happening. All right, so set up a call, right? So I get on the call and I'm all nervous at first. I'm like, what are these people talking about? All these people they want in this film, are these people really legit? So I go through the list and there's people that they're saying is gonna be on this film, like Pat Flynn, who's amazing. People like Chris Ducker, one of my good friends today, Allison Moslin's in the film. And even John Lee Dumas is supposed to be in this film. I'm like, I think I got him. So I was like, John is speaking at my next event. Let me text John and see what kind of BS they talking about, what kind of sick joke they're trying to play. So I text John and he goes, yeah, man, it's legit. They're great. Serious Take Productions, I can't wait. I'm excited to be in that film. They're asking you to be in it, you should definitely do it. And I'm like, man, so this must be legit. So I get on with them, right, on the call, but now I have to downplay it and really still kind of question them, not act like I'm really that excited. I got to keep it cool, right? So I get on with them. I'm like, okay, well, tell me a little bit more about this film. Who's going to be? And they go through this list of all these people. They're like, it's going to be called Inspired by 11. We're going to have a massive launch. We're going to rent out a theater. We're going to show the film. But when is it going to be produced? They're like, well, we got to get everybody's footage. We've got most of the people. We want to get yours. And they're like, well, where would you like to do it? And I go, hold on for a second. And I put the phone down and I go, hey, to my right hand man, what if we had them come to our live event, give them tickets, and they get to shoot the event at our live event? We'll get the best footage. It'll look awesome. It'll be cool. So I get back on there, I'll call them. I say, well, we actually are having a live event. In fact, John Lee Dumas, I think you said he's going to be in the film. Is that correct? Yeah, he's going to be in the film. He's going to be in the film. Like, I already knew he was going to be in the film. I just want to see what they were going to say. And they're like, yeah, he's absolutely. I'm like, yeah, so you can get footage of him. You should come to our event and shoot the footage there. They go, absolutely. I'm like, we'll give you guys tickets. Come out. It'll be absolutely amazing. So they agree to do it, and I'm excited. And literally, I hang up the phone, and I start dancing around. I start doing the cabbage patch. I even did the Carlton. So then I look over at my right-hand man, and I say, hey, I guess we're going to be in a movie. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that episode. And if you have not hit the like button, if you have not left a comment, if you have not subscribed, what are you doing? What are you doing? Click it. I'm gonna wait. Click that like button, subscribe, because you don't want to miss the next one. Later.